Welcome everyone to another episode of Satisfactory. Since last episode, I have done some retooling again. Of course, surprise, surprise, I've actually taken out my production here in the original area that was producing screws. I've still got some more over there to pull out and put in here. But I did finish my trunk that goes in there. I basically took all of the production out from the lower area and just tied in production from there, the new chain that I set up, into the existing system for now, because it is producing enough to keep things going. I've also retooled my steel production a little bit. So what I did over here was, there was the iron sights on the lower ledge here. I turned those into iron production, so you have the raw iron ore going in here, feeding into two new smelters, make the iron bars, and then feeding in from more of the coal from up there that feeds into both of these as well. So I have this whole little thing going, and it's just actually no, that's the coal there coming across. You see how I got this stack splitter thing going. It's wonky looking, but it works, and it just feeds in here, makes more of the plates, which now goes here, which means I'm actually producing more steel beams than I'm producing in concrete for a change. And I might be adding another one of these over here to ramp this up even further, because I want this to be doing some massive production. This was because my encased steel beams were just way less than everything else. You see just how few I have by comparison. So yeah, I decided to ramp up production just on that side. And I can't remember for sure if I did this with last episode or not, but I also expanded to the top level, or the second floor of my big coal production facility over there. So I have two floors going, and it's like 1.3 gigawatts, yeah, total between this and the site for all the steel production. So I've got a good bit of stuff going. I still have some screws to get out of there. I've got some more stuff to clear up from here. I'm trying to, I did also set up a new copper site over there. There's actually a site in that distance tied into power from here that's producing all the copper, and I have a truck station there for now just to bring everything over because it is fairly close. I'll probably end up building just a long conveyor chain to feed over here. So I'm basically trying to get everything away from this spot, from the starting point, because I am going to eventually turn this into my big train depot, station area, and let this be where the train comes through and unloads everything here, or multiple trains. So I'm going to try moving some stuff today and get started on the train station setup. So I've taken out one of my two truck stations here and replaced it with the hub and the workshop because I really wasn't using both of them, just one. And I also, one thing I did previously is I connected all the storage containers I had here in a long chain over to a new stack of containers. I took the ones I had and made a little stack going, and basically I had everything that was along this path empty into there so I could take this out, with the idea being at some point I'm going to have it tie in from either the truck station, the train station, whatever. I want to have it tie in and see if I can figure out a way to have basically a massive storage system for all sorts of different things that just goes through here, and it just uses the smart splitters to keep stacking things into the correct containers. It may involve me having to build further out and do some other weird stuff, but I'm hopeful maybe that will be a good possibility for me, is have just a huge storage area on the lower floor and then just move everything up to the second floor and keep building upwards. Alright, so I've got a train station and two freight stations, freight car placements. And I kind of just placed it down best I could. I did have to move some power around, and this is probably a bad idea right here if I have power going to it already. Alright, so the train is going that direction. So you basically, if I wanted to have this going, coming from there, I'd have to have it going this way. So there's definitely going to be some special working of how you get everything to tie together, I think. But this is basically it, and we got the two freight car spots. I really don't know how much I'm going to get actually, functioning with this. I just really wanted to see how well it would work. And I've got a little bit of this left. So basically it's railway. Okay, too short. Okay, now I'll go. There we go. All right, so I could build like that, and it does curve nicely, so it's not like a weird blocky thing in terms of setup. Track is too long, so at some point I would have to have, I don't have, there's no like junction thing like there is for the, you know, conveyors. There's no pole for it. It's just keep going. I guess you just have to stop at a certain point or have like a platform that it works with, and then we have like, you know, the electric locomotive and the freight car. So must be built on railway. Okay, so I was messing around with things and I see that there is a configure train station. So we got timetable and this, and it's like, yeah, have your badge, you have the name of it. I hoped it would be something like tell it which direction to go, because this is going in that direction. Did I switch something? Did I hit something? Freight platform. Okay, so I've got some more supplies ready to go for this. Basically the same thing, except instead of having one truck, you can have a couple of freight cars. And apparently because I'm going the wrong direction, I probably have those on the wrong side. Alright, we're going to come out a bit more this way. If I can curve it suitably enough. Definitely feel like this is a bit more of a hassle than the conveyor belts are. Alright, so I've got that part. Basically, I'm just going to create a little loop here and see how well it functions. Alright, so we've got 2 train stations and, well, the one or 2 freight platforms here just so I can mess with it. Let's do the electric locomotive. Alright. It's not linking. It's also... oh, yeah, I can't afford. Second one, I did get enough for 1 freight car as well. And so that is showing coupled there, and it is. It looks like the notion is you're not doing just a regular, like it's a car that has storage, but you are putting a storage container on it, or a thing, is what I saw. At least I believe I saw that in one of the videos showing it. It looked like it was being used to push, or, you know, to transport around storage container, and it was basically just taking the container out. Though I might be wrong. It looks different. It's got that kind of inventory setup. So yeah, let's see. Drive it. All right. Choo-choo. So it's not using fuel. It's using strictly power. All right, wait a second. I'm going forward, and I'm pushing this. So why is it? Alright, it lets me go backward. Or no, not backwards. It's letting me go forward and then hit reverse as brake. Why is it pointing this way, though? If this is the way I'm supposed to go, why did it sit there and automatically orient that way? Alright, so... which... Alright, that looks to be the front. Well, let's do like that. Is that not how I had it before? Oh, there we go. Oh, and you can see it's got like a little... The middle piece right up there opens up a little bit when you start moving. See it lift out. And of course the... I guess the electric motor part there, the maglev, whatever, starts going. So it's got good speed. And so basically, as long as you've got unlimited power, that brake does not work very well at all. It really doesn't. Oh, that's actually... I feel a bit disappointed, really. Like, the brake is not that great for it. Okay, so C, you just choose timetable and you're like, hey, all right, I want you to go here. That's it. It's not like you hit C. It's not like the other ones where you have a wheel of options. And as soon as you get out, it seems like you're gonna get hit. So let's see what this does. I feel like it's just gonna stop and not go anywhere. All right, so that's like air brakes. You see them lift up. Yeah, there they go, lifting up like they're air brakes. I don't know why that would be the case. Okay, so now it's not doing anything. So now we're gonna go like that, yeah. Alright, so you basically have to tell it the sequence and then let it go. So that can be useful. I mean, essentially you're kind of building a long conveyor belt, really, between one point and another. This probably just makes it a little bit easier, so you're not having that long conveyor belt going with all the effects it would have on rendering things. Oh, those sparking brakes. Alright, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna dump that in. I want to see what happens. Oh, okay, so now when it has stuff in there, it looks like it has a car. And then when it's empty, it just looks like a flat bed. So yeah, it's going there. Let's put something away. You know what? There we go. Take this out. So drives along. I want to see the actual you know, removal action. Okay, and then we've got at least a, you know, in this way, out this way kind of thing. It's not gonna move it anywhere. I'm just gonna see it pop in here and take it back out. I want to see the actual action, like how we have the claw game thing going with the truck station. Not take out. Okay, so we gotta switch this. Come on. All right, stop. Stop. Okay, I swapped the thing around. You've got supplies. There it goes. All right, so we're gonna have it. It's gonna lift. Maybe I should move out of the way just in case it decides to, you know, drop it on top of me and for some reason hurt me with it. So it seems like it's got the animation of you moving the entire container over, and I guess the idea is that it is the timing, kind of like with the trucks. You can see, you know, that timing bar saying, oh yeah, this is almost done. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna have that going on both of these because I want it to come out. So while the truck loads, this is my new copper mining site, where basically just 2 copper locations going into 2 constructors to make wire. And it looks weird, but what I did is I have a conveyor splitter that takes it, so you get, like, you can see 3 at a time coming across from these. So there's the merger, 3 here. It splits 1, 2, 3. 1 goes over here for copper wire, and 1, 2 go back in here to a merger that goes into this and feeds up here. So the idea was to try and use that as a way to balance out a bit. You see how much better balance is. It still leans towards, not wire, cable. Still leans towards the cable, but the wire works fine. So yeah, that is helping out from over there instead of relying on just the 1 up there. So you can see here how everything is piping in, basically coming from there, splitting into 3 different lifts that bring it down here into my old storage that I had already in place. And everything's finally starting to fill in a bit more from the fact that it was almost empty on everything before with the production volume that I had going. And now it's actually starting to balance out a little bit better. But that's working really well. That's actually doing a lot of production coming from there. And I honestly like that setup better, I think, than if I had done, like, even just a short train to come over here and drop things off. I think really from what I've seen so far, the advantage of the trains is, of course, the fact that you can have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 cars if you really want. be able to bring that massive of a load at one time, and all the cars will unload together. And just the fact you don't have to worry about messing with fuel because it's powered by the railroad track. So the track itself and the train station provides power for the train, and it just simplifies things a little bit more in that regard. So for now, I'm adding back in a long conveyor to feed from the truck station, because honestly, I'm just going to keep using it for a while. It ultimately gives me a little bit better versatility and overall utility right now than the train is going to provide me. And I'm just going to let it keep feeding into that storage and use the opportunity right now to keep this going. Maybe do some retooling up there. And like I said, my goal, I hope, is to get to where I could turn this into just one big storage platform, maybe, and have this being where everything gets brought in, receiving wise, and then piped upstairs to the upper floors for actual production use, rather than having a mix up between floors like this. You know, just have everything kind of going in and getting more into the conveyor systems. But this, you know, I've been back and forth with the game. Really, the funnest part for the game for me is the exploration, going around, looking at stuff, finding new things. The production is very much the least enjoyable part of the game. The dealing with all this has become, for a building game, the least enjoyable part. It just feels so much like work that I'm not finding the game engaging enough. I'm not finding it fun enough. And so with this episode, and probably a shorter episode at this point, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for a little while, because if I don't step back and take a break now, I'm going to push myself to the point where I absolutely end up hating the game and will not come back to it at any point. So I need a very significant break from this, because it's at that point now. I do not look forward to playing the game at all. When I'm doing the videos, or when I'm just playing, trying to get work done between videos, I do not look forward to it. It is very much a chore. So if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do videos for the game. And to keep from getting to where I absolutely hate the game, I'm just going to take a break from it. So that is the end of this episode and the end of Satisfactory for at least a little while, until maybe the game matures a bit more and they make some adjustments that hopefully I find make the game a little bit more engaging for me, and not such a feeling like I'm back at my job kind of thing. But that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed the series so far, be sure to hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I will see you in the next video.